Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in for another action-packed show. As in this week's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of the continuation of the soul. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdoms through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week ahead. So let's begin this week's episode by talking about the continuation of the soul. So first of all, our soul has a purpose, and we all decide what we want to do in this incarnation, in this life, before we even visit the earth plane there. But obviously, well, I say obviously, but our soul is a continuation of energy, and that energy changes form and can filter through many different life paths and life stories. And so with all of this information adding up, there can be various choices that are made available to us in order for our soul to expand and grow. And this is the point of our soul. So we expand, we evolve, we grow. And in fact, the point of it is divine oneness. So the collective, the greater good of all, expands and grows and learns from all of this information. And so all the paths that we choose, that we decide, or that have been laid out in front of us will all add to that growth to help the greater good, the all. So it goes back to what we believe, everything that we're divine oneness, we're all connected in some way, shape or form. We're all parts of this energy, this universal energy. And so the soul transitionally can move in any direction of time and in any dimension of time. And if you understand the principle that there's no actual time at all we have is now, and based upon where we put the focus on, or our soul puts the focus on, we can travel in any of these directions there as well. But what I do find interesting about this process is that everybody that is listening to this, everybody has experienced this consciously at some part of their life. And this is astral travel. Now, what I'm talking about when I say this, astral travel is where your body gets its physical rest and it recuperates from the activities within the day. And yet our soul goes on its adventures. And how it does this, our consciousness, is connected to our physical body with what I would describe as a silver cord, which is attached to our navel. This is my understanding from what my guides have told me there as well. And so in our physical body sleep, our soul doesn't. It continues to expand and grow its consciousness and also do the healing work in multiple dimensions of time, in all facets of time, going in the past, the present, the future, and in different universes. And so what the soul does, it goes on these journeys every night when we go to sleep. Our physical body rests. It continues to learn, grow, and add to the expansion of the universe by doing this. And many of us sometimes wake up in the morning in our physical body and we feel absolutely exhausted, even though we've had a full night's sleep, a full night's rest. But we just feel really exhausted all of a sudden. Now, this is partly because of this soul journeying that we've been doing, this astral traveling. In fact, some of us may have experienced at some part of our life where all of a sudden we're asleep, our physical body is anyway, And then we're suddenly awoken by our physical body jolting. Our heart is racing, our adrenaline is rushing, and we're just wide awake in that moment, when actual fact our body has had a deep rest and we've been woken from this slumber with this sort of jolting experience. Well, this is also the soul coming back a little bit too quickly from its astral traveling and moving back into our vessel, the body, at a rapid speed. And it's that, upon it landing and connecting back in the physical body, that is what awakes us. That's why the adrenaline rushes. That's why we feel that jolting experience in our physical body. And sometimes in those moments, we can experience maybe symbolisms, maybe images or places where we've just come back from in our astral travel. So at some point in our life, we would have gone through that, each and every one of us. So the next time you encounter it, just bear this in mind, that this is what's actually happened. And don't be worried, don't be frightened. This is a natural thing that we all do. And like I say, it's part of our soul's progression, because the soul is continually wanting to know more knowledge. It's wanting to heal so that it can obtain knowledge and cut any unnecessary burdens that perhaps it is carrying on a deep level. So it's continually evolving to add to the greater good, the greater collective. Also, what I would say as well is ending of the physical body. So in other words, when our body is no longer susceptible or viable to be that vessel to hold our soul in it, whether this is down to illness, old age, whatever the case may be, and our soul, then the silver cord that I was describing that is connected to our navel, that allows us to astral travel and keeps us connected, well, that silver cord then breaks from our physical vehicle, our physical body. And then this enables our soul to continue its journey of evolution, depending upon the mindset or the subconscious belief systems of your experience within your physical body. Now, what I'm talking about is, I've probably talked about this on other episodes, where I've gone into paranormal investigations and actually come in contact with lost souls, as I would describe them. And this is where the soul has left the physical body, but has either made a conscious choice not to continue its journey and evolve and add to the greater consciousness and awareness for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons could be that the personality of that soul is frightened about maybe the process, or is maybe concerned about some of the things that they've done in their life, and they're wondering what awaits them, and they have that level of fear which is keeping their energy in so-called limbo state, where they're in a perpetual cycle of this Groundhog Day feeling. So they will be experiencing the same old situation and that frustration there. Another reason why the soul doesn't want to move on, maybe it was a quick exit from the physical body and the actual soul wasn't aware that they'd passed. So they were continuing out their daily duties, not aware that they'd passed at all. And they was in, again, that state of limbo, that cycle there where everything seems to be going around in circles. People are ignoring them, aren't interacting with them, and they feel very much alone and yet frustrated, but for different reasons, obviously. Another one of these things is simply that there is an energetic cord of attachment to that either premises where that person has deceased, or whether they're connected to a situation in the earth, or maybe it's individuals that they're connected to. Those burdens, those energetic cords are keeping their soul from evolving and moving on back into the greater good of consciousness there. So there's many levels of why the soul remains trapped and doesn't move on. But in most cases, the soul will then, that silver cord will break, and the soul is then collected either by a loved one, a family member, usually the spirit guide of that individual, of that soul, will then usher them into the world of light, into the world of spirit, where they then can have a period of evolution and I would say just evaluation, actually, where that soul would then go through a life review and experience all the feelings that they encountered, experience all the words that they said, and all the experiences that they had, and how that had an impact on them personally, but also they'll experience the collective's experience of them in those situations. So they'll get to pick on other people's emotions, their thoughts of them in those scenarios. And so the soul is continually going through this process in order to make sense of the life that they've just lived and to actually formulate some sort of plan or healing in which direction they feel they want to go. Now, in most cases, from what I've been told from my guides, that soul does take time to process. Time is irrelevant, obviously, as we've said, but, just so that we understand the process, there is some moments where that soul then goes through a period of healing in order for them to regain the understanding of who they are, what they are, the purpose of that experience. And then when they've arrived at that, they can then make decisions based upon how they feel and how they want to expand and evolve. Some of those things can actually be the soul naturally wants to progress and heal some of those hurts, maybe some of those things that have happened in that life experience, but maybe they're not feeling it to do it right that moment, right that time. They may want to experience and get used to the vibration of being in a spirit body and having that understanding and going on those journeys, looking around in different dimensions, doing a bit of traveling and understanding some of those things. But inevitably, that soul will then have to make a choice where it continues to progress and heal. And if that soul has unfulfilled lessons that perhaps it had agreed to do in the life that it's just left in the physical body, then that soul would have the option to go back, to reincarnate into a different vehicle, into a different vessel, to then continue those lessons that need to be learned in order for the greater good expansion and to release some of those soul agreements that soul had agreed to fulfill. We can go really, really deep on this, but I'm just going to leave it there with this. But you can see how things can unfold. And obviously this is where reincarnation can come into play there, if that soul is wanting to go through and fulfill their soul path that perhaps they didn't do in the life that they just completed. So also, I want to talk about loved ones as well. Now, loved ones, our family members, our friends, colleagues who have made their transition where that silver cord has been broken and that contract with their physical body has then been fulfilled. When those loved ones go back into the world of light, just to let you know that they watch over us continually. They're always around us because they can be in multiple places, in multiple dimensions, in the exact same time. Now, this can be a bit of a mind bender, hard for us to get a grasp on that. How can you be over there yet over here at the same time? Yet when you understand the principle that we're all connected, we are everything, and it's where we place our focused intention on, and where we decide to be, where we can be. And this goes into the soul. We can do that. We can do that. This is my understanding, what my guides have told me. And so, yeah, we can be with several family members. So if we're in the world of spirit, for example, and we've left, say, a wife and the children, that soul can then be with all those individuals at that exact same time. Because when we understand there is no time, there's just now. And when that soul decides to focus their attention on their family now, then all of the family get to at least have the benefit of knowing that their loved one is with them every moment. With me saying this, the loved ones are absolutely incredible for letting us know that they are around, because they have the ability of leaving signs with us. They have the ability of letting us know, those of us that are consciously observing and that are not sort of bogged down, that's probably the wrong term, with grief, overrun with grief and bogged down with those lower vibrations. Obviously, grieving is a part of the process when we do lose a loved one, and grieving can happen. There's no end to grieving. There's no right or wrong answer to grieving, how long you're meant to grieve for, but what I'm saying is, when you come to a period of healing and you have an understanding of your family member has left and they're in a better place, but they're still with you, their essence, the source of who they are, is inevitably still with you. And just talking about this, I like to use the analogy of if we can imagine a CD, okay, and then if we can imagine that CD plays music, if we assume that the CD represents the physical body, okay, now that CD, that music contained on that CD, can then be transformed into an MP3, which no longer needs a physicality of a CD. It just needs the observation of an electronic device that reads that information from an MP3. So using those analogies, we can see that us as a soul, as a character, as a personality, continually evolves. It just changes format. And so those of us that are acceptant and are open to decoding that information, in other words, connecting with souls, connecting with energy, frequency, will have another encounter with our friends and family that have made their transition into the world of spirit. So if we use that analogy and see it that way, it may make you feel more comfortable in knowing that actually your loved ones haven't necessarily gone anywhere. They've just changed their format. Their characteristics are still the same. The love for you is still the same. And those memories that you share together is still the same. It's just changed its format in a different frequency. But let's get back to what I was talking about. I was talking about our loved ones have the ability to leave us signs, to let us know that they are around us. And these signs can be anything specific to you and them, maybe a memory link or something that is connected with your loved one that is in the world of spirit. Now, I'd like to give you an example of this, of my first-hand experience of this. Many of you know that my dad passed away in spirit, coming up to 10 years now. And in actual fact, my dad was buried. And on my dad's headstone, this is relevant why I'm mentioning this, by the way, my dad's headstone is a heart shape, okay? And inscribed on the heartstone, there is musical symbols. So we have the treble clef. We have musical notation there around the headstone. And again, this is very relevant why I'm mentioning this, because my dad was a musician and a teacher as well. And he did have a heart of gold. He would help absolutely anybody, and he would always have that listening ear and advice to share with them if they were willing to listen. Again, this is relevant to this example I'm sharing with you. Because what my dad does, and again, you have to be paying attention, you have to be open and be observant, but what my dad does to let me know that he is around and he's observing and watching me over me is with the studio cabling, the headphone cabling, or maybe phone or electronic devices, the chargers connected to those, anything with wiring, my dad will make the heart shape in the wire when there's nobody else in the studio, when there's nobody else in the home and it's been locked up. And upon coming back, you go in, you enter, and you look down on the floor, on the table, the desk, and you see that these leads have been left in a heart shape. Now, what also is interesting about having this experience is that my dad was also an electrician. That was part of one of the many roles that he fulfilled in his life path. And so with him using energy, wiring, and creating this heart shape with wiring is also, to me, that is evidential information from him to let me know that he's all right. With me mentioning earlier that his headstone is a heart shape, so that is relevant to the symbology that he's leaving me. And obviously a heart would represent love, wouldn't it, as well? So there's three lots of evidence just with that heart shape that he has shown me there as well. Another thing that he leaves as well, if it's not a heart shape, he will then, again, using similar techniques. Now, this could happen in wiring, could happen in shoelaces, anything like that, is that he will leave and he will formulate that wiring into a treble clef sign, which is the symbol that you see at the beginning of musical compositions. And he's left this sign all over the place. Even, as many of you know, I play in a band. I'm a drummer, I'm a vocalist as well. And, sometimes I look down at my feet whilst I'm on stage performing behind the kit, and I see the microphone cabling at the side of me. Normally it's just kind of tossed down on the floor, and I look down and it's in the shape of a treble clef. Again, my dad letting me know that he's very much around. He's watching over me, he's supporting me still. But like I say, he's just operating from a different format, a different energy source. But still, he has that ability to let me know he is around. So that's one of the signs, or two of the signs that my dad uses to let me know that he's very much around me and he's there to still continually offer that support, that love and healing. Now, your relatives could do something of a similar nature. Whatever is relevant to them, a symbology, maybe one of their pastimes or their job, just look out for these little nuances. It's not necessarily, doesn't necessarily have to be in wire or shoelaces. It could be in paper. It could be in a book. It could be anything. It could be nature. It could be animals. Whenever you see a particular animal that your loved one liked and you see them in random places, that can also be a symbol that your family member is there around you. Also, our loved ones have the actual opportunity, and they can actually do this. They can infuse thoughts into our mind. So if they're wanting to get help or wisdom through to us, what they can do is through the vibrations of the atmosphere, of our vibration, if we're open enough to receive this thought, because let's face it, we're all transmitters and receivers of information. When we're open, usually this happens when we're not keeping ourselves too busy and we're relaxing, and we get these thoughts that just pop in our head there. Now, this is where our loved ones can actually influence some of these thoughts. They can give us ideas. They can also put memories in our head that perhaps we haven't thought about for many, many years, going back to our childhood, for example. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, these thoughts just pop in our head. They become very real, very tangible, and we're actually there in that moment. This is also our loved ones bringing forward their energy to let us know that they're all right, that they still have this unbreakable, unshakable love for us, And this is just one of the ways that they're bringing forward that evidence and that information to let us know that they're still there and we're very much connected by this beautiful energy and vibration of love there. Now, what they can do as well, if there is specific information that they want you to know, which indeed will help you on your timeline in your life, then obviously they'll put those thoughts in your head to give you that help, that understanding. If you're in a place where your mind is continually busy and full of information, then what they will then do is they will plant a song in your head. Now that song can contain lyrics that is relevant to the situation that they want to help you with. Also within that song, there will be energy, there will be frequency. So upon you listening to that song, as well as researching the lyrics and understanding the meaning in the lyrics, there will be a healing vibration upon listening that will also lift your consciousness and awareness, which will actually help you understand the situation that you're in and will help you naturally come to your own conclusions about what steps to take. So it's very important when you do get that, some people call it now an earworm, when you've got that song in your head all day. Don't just ignore it and just think, oh, I wish that song would go away. It will continue to be there until you actually inspect it further and you understand the message in that song and why it hasn't moved out of your head. Once you've understood that, you'll find that that song will then stop playing around in your head and it will go, simply because you've got that message and you've understood and you've got the healing behind it. Now, your guides will also use such as TV shows, situations, maybe scenes in films. They maybe replay those memories in your mind there as well. And again, there will be a relevant piece of information with them doing that as well. So, you know, the next time you're thinking maybe a comedy from the 1970s, one of the classic sketches, you know, just analyze that. Why am I seeing that? Why is that rattling around my head? Maybe you need more love. You need more laughter in your life. Predominantly the high vibrations coming in, but also just inspect the dialogue within that scene that's playing out in your head there and the emotion within that situation. It could be very relevant to your life at this moment in time. And this is your friends, your family in the world of spirit, giving you that unconditional love and support from their dimension by implanting these memories in your mind there as well. So it's very interesting the way that they can get their messages through us. And the next time I would say you're relaxing or you're not keeping your mind overly occupied, just be observant about the things that you are experiencing in your mind with non-attachment. And you'll be surprised what information is coming through to you on a continued basis that is connected to your friends, family and loved ones. So this, again, supporting that evidence that they're always around you, they're there to help and guide you as well. But also, I want you to understand to trust the process of the soul, because the soul sees the greater perspective. Our higher self sees the greater good in any situation. Sometimes where we're too grounded in our physical body, we become overwhelmed with all the information that we're processing. Where maybe, I use the analogy of having the blinkers on, where we only see a certain narrative or problem right in front of us, and we don't see the bigger picture. But by trusting the process and the evolution of the soul and the higher self, seeing the bigger picture, then, and just having that space in your life where you're open to receiving this guidance and information, and just allow yourself not to force things to happen. Stepping back also and trusting the higher self, the soul, for it sees all dimensions of time, all directions of time, and it will serve your highest good, and it will often bring these things to you in the path of least resistance. So getting into the habit of not forcing things to happen and just trusting the process will aid you and help you to connect and trust the vibrations of your higher self, your soul, in every direction and dimension of time. So I hope this has given you something to at least think about and consider when we're talking about the continuation of the soul, and that it doesn't just start and end in our physical body. Well, now we're moving on to the next segment of the show, which is the channeled section, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for spirit to bring their communications through. And what does amaze me every week is the amount of different communicators that do come through and are elected to step forward. I found that fascinating. You know, who decides? Is it the energy that decides, that dictates these things? But anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from Spirit.
Why, hello there. Thank you for letting me come through today. I'd like to talk to you about numerous subjects. One of these subjects is the continuation of the spirit and the soul of that individual. And you are here to do a lesson on this earth plane, which what I would term as the earth classroom. You've come down here to expand and grow your consciousness and bring back all of your discoveries back into the universe, into the world of light and spirit. You are all unique expressions of the same source of energy. And when you go back into that great pool of knowledge and wisdom, you will feel enriched, and so shall the rest of the universal energetic connection. You are absolutely, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me, we're just playing with a few things, a few variables there, but the sentiment is still the same. In fact, yes, we've just changed communicators, as you've probably heard, and the reason for this is simply just to try and allow some other people of the soul group to come through, giving them that opportunity to speak to you all that are listening to this broadcast. But yes, to follow on from the previous communicator, you are magnificent beings. Better than what you give yourself credit for. I'm not saying this to make you feel big-headed or better than what you assume you are, when simply stating true facts. And with these facts being expressed to you, we want you to know now that your mind actually is stronger and has far more uses than what you originally perceived it to have. The fact that you can communicate through multiple dimensions of time and different universal vibrational frequencies will go over the top of most people's heads, and that's simply because they have been conditioned to a degree where they see that they are separate from the greater good, and they don't have these innate powers and wisdoms, and we say that you have, and the way of reconnecting with them can be quite, shall we say, traumatic to some. And what we mean by traumatic is the fact that you will have to go through a process of going within and clearing out all the old belief systems that have been indoctrinized into your subconscious mind about your reality and who you are as an energy source and a being on this planet. You'll have to remove all of those things, and it will be very painful to some of you. It will cause a level of confusion like you've not encountered at all during your life course. However, in order to get to these powers that we describe, you have to clear the decks, so to speak. You have to have a clear pathway so that there's no attachment to anything other than the truth of who you are. Now, when you arrive at that level, you will notice that your sensitivity is increased tenfold to the fact that you will be picking up on vibrations in your environment, the people around you, the thought vibrations that are going around the ether there, and also you'll be tapping into other dimensions as we previously noted to you. Now, when you tap into these other dimensions, this can happen when you're in what you would describe in your modern terms as going into a daydream state, or simply choosing to take that time out, such as the practice of meditation, where you slow one's thinking down and allow your vibration to blend with that of the universal mind. Also, you will experience this by doing some astral traveling, which occurs in most occasions when your physicality, your body, is resting when you're in bed of an evening. Yet your soul, your spirit, continues to go on its journeys into multiple dimensions, again offering that wisdom, that learning, and fulfilling your soul's purpose and your tasks that you assigned for your soul before you actually incarnated into your physical form on the earth plane dimension. So all of these things will be taking place once you remove some of these old levels of thinking. There's going to be lots of cultures, lots of people in your society that will be very perplexed by these new vibrational energy frequency changes that are coming in. There'll be a portion of society that believes the main narrative that has been force-fed the mind through your media and other channels. And yet there'll be other portions of your society that will feel an innate disharmony, displeasure with the information that is being projected upon them. And in doing so, those individuals will not accept that information because they will feel it in their core. Because of their deep level of sensitivity, they will know that it's not the truth, and it's not the facts, it's not true. So it will not align with you, and you will not let any vibration that isn't the truth vibration or any lesser of what you are in your soul move into your vibration. We understand that this can be termed as a very lonely experience for you in your physicality as you go through these changes. And we say to you that you are never truly alone. You are always governed by your spirit guides and your helpers. You are always surrounded by your ancestors. So even though you do feel at times that you are physically on your own, we assure you, you never truly are. What we do suggest to you, if you are feeling in this level in your physical body, that the prescribed method in order to remove that vibration from you is to get into the vibration of meditation, that divine oneness where you connect with the universal mind, the universal energies, and you will no longer feel these human feelings of feeling alone. And in fact, you'll come out feeling more sensitive, you'll feel more aligned, and you'll feel more positive, and it will not worry you a jot that for certain periods of your time, you are in the vibration of being on your own physical. But what we also say is this is actually a gift in disguise. Many of you won't see it as that, but we assure you it is, because in this space, what you will be creating and manifesting, because your vibrations are higher than most, and we do not mean to sound condescending in any way when we use those terms, but simply we're just alluding to that your vibration is that of a higher vibration to those that are still currently working on their vibration. They will arrive at that destination if they should choose so. We're using their free will. But what we're saying to you, in a nutshell, that you will attract the right people, the right physical people towards you. And you'll do this through your alignment of vibration, because those will be naturally drawn to you by your truth, by your authenticity, and you will be drawn to their truth and authenticity as a result of you clearing the deck, so to speak, with your subconscious and subliminal mental programming. Now, we understand that's a lot to take in, and we assure you that those of you that are on this path already will already be feeling these vibrations and will have gone through a lot of what we've described to you today. However, those of you that are on the beginning of this journey, we assure you that life does blossom. It does get easier for you when you learn not to hold on to the old and release your grip on what you perceived as your current moment reality. And when you do that, your life will flow a lot more seamlessly in the direction of your soul path. But we bring this information to you all today to let you know that these changes are for the best. These changes are already here. They're happening now. And we just wanted to reassure you that everything's going to work out beautifully for all of you. Those that are listening to this broadcast will obviously have a better understanding of the circumstance and will have a heads up on how to maybe combat that loneliness that we have described to you. And just to reiterate what we suggested, we suggest when you feel that bout of loneliness in your physicality, in your physical body, that you go into a form of meditation or sitting in the power, sitting in the silence. And this will enable you to observe the mind and watching it come and go and all of the conversations and energies that pass through the mind, and it will allow you to understand that actually this is not your true essence. This is not your true vibration. In fact, what you're doing is picking up on mental and emotional information, and you're adopting that information as your own by choosing to focus your attention on the signals that are passing into your vibration. So, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to pass you over to another communicator that wishes to bring forward some more information to you at this moment in time. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in.
You know what? I ain't come through for a while, so I've been pushed to the front. That's good, isn't it? Well, I want to say to everybody that's listening to this, we all really appreciate that you take that time out of your day, whatever time it is, to listen to these broadcasts. They're very, very important, and we feel very honoured to come forward and share our wisdom and healing information to you there as well. What most of you don't realise is that when we do speak and we do come through the vehicle, that we are also emitting energy frequency healing through the vessel's voice box. So the frequency tones that you're hearing with your ears, we implore you to actually feel the vibration in them. Some of you may feel goosebumps on your arms, get that tingly feeling down your spine, or generally feel calm and relaxed upon listening to these channeled broadcasts. And we say that our role is to do multiple tasks all at the same time, if you understand. So we're wanting to give you reassurance, that information, and also healing. And we hope that you all feel it and benefit from it, because our role is basically to help you understand the truth of who you are and your purpose, and how you can continue on your pathway with the least amount of fuss and with the least amount of self-doubt. We assure you that those that do regularly listen to these broadcasts will start to notice a change and a shift in their vibration energetically. Also, the way that you perceive things will change, as the way that you look at the world will change, and you'll start to see the unseen world in your physical world. In other words, you'll see lots of different energies. You'll also hear information and sense information, as a result of following and listening to these broadcasts that we bring forward to you. Like we say, our intention is to heal you, to help you ascend and grow through the information and the energetic frequency codes that are brought through these transmissions. What we also want to let you know is that each and every one of you does have a spirit team around you. So whenever you're feeling a little bit lost, dazed or confused, just send that thought out to the world of spirit that you'd like some help, and just notice a change in your atmosphere and vibration the minute you've finished saying that sentence. And we assure you we mean you no harm. We bring uttermost love and respect and healing for you, and we want to propel you forward so that you can continue to evolve your society, so that you can continue to create a heaven on earth that was always here and is your natural state of being. We're encouraging you to think in those terms and those frequency bands so that you can start and see the heaven on earth is already here now. So thank you for listening. We hope this information and the frequencies that are channeled through the vessel find you well and help you upon your journey through your soul's mission. We send our love and healing, and we look forward to coming forward again once more in the near future. Bye for now. Love you all. Bye.
What an incredible transmission there from the world of spirit. Interesting to hear an abundance of communicators and being told about how the hierarchy, so to speak, works on the other side, that they're all part of a soul group and that they blend and they're elected to come forward and share their wisdom there. So I found that particularly fascinating. So yeah, and it was nice to obviously hear little Tom there at the end and bringing forward that beautiful wisdom. It's been a while since we've heard him there. But yeah, I really enjoyed the wisdom that came through there, and I'm going to listen back to that actually. So now we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's energy forecast reading. So sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper if you feel inclined to do so, and listen to this week's energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 16th of October 2023. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the Angel Tarot card. So what I'm about to do is shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that and bring forward the messages for you for this week. First of all, I feel as though this week will see you being more at peace with yourself, letting bygones be bygones, and just being more present in your life, understanding that you can't change anything, only you can change yourself and the way that you perceive the world. This week will see you relaxing into your life a little bit more, removing that level of anxiety and also that desire to change things rapidly. Instead, you're just going to be more accepting of how things are, and by being in this state of awareness, in actual fact, you'll allow the universe to work in tandem with your true essence, your true life path, and your true desires. And it's going to come in seamlessly for you. When I say it, I'm talking about whatever it is you're dominantly focusing on at this moment in time. It's going to be drawn towards you as a result of you just letting go and having that level of trust. This week we'll also see changes in your own physical energy as well, as I feel as though there's going to be an element of hyperactivity and excitement with you, an abundance of energy to the point where you're tapping on things, you're twitching, you're up and down from you're not being able to keep still, basically, and also finding that you'll have conversations that will seem to go on and on and on, and you won't be able to be quiet, you won't be able to shut up, and you'll just find this energy surging throughout you. And so it will find a way to communicate or express itself this week. Do, however, watch out for times and spells of dizziness within yourself this week, as I do feel as though you are becoming increasingly sensitive. And these bouts of dizziness is just you actually picking up on the environmental changes, the energy that's occurring around you. So if you do experience that, then do be gentle with yourself and take a little bit of time back for yourself just to recalibrate and be more present there. Once you've done that, I feel as though you'll be back on track again. I don't feel as though it's anything medical to concern yourself about, more energetic and to do with your sensitivity. Also, watch out this week as well, as I feel as though opportunities will be placed in front of you. And for those of you that are being present and aware of spirit and how the universe works by leaving signs, by leaving breadcrumb trails, will actually be more aware of these opportunities. And when they do come in, instead of procrastinating and dithering, you just need to recognize it for what it is and go for it. Give it all you've got. And this is in connection with anything that your heart is calling you to follow. Once you trust that wisdom and you see the signs from the universe, go for it. It is safe for you to do so, and you'll be glad that you did. Can you also stop overanalyzing and overthinking this week? I know we mentioned this earlier, but I just feel this intense amount of pressure that you're putting yourself under. And only you have the key to unlock that sort of level of burden that you're carrying around. Once you appreciate that, let it go, then everything will change in your week this week. So let's turn over the card and see what the card says for you. So at the bottom of the card, it says, stand up for yourself and your beliefs. Have confidence. Challenge those in power, but also choose your battles wisely. Very wise words there as well. So in many respects, it is saying for you to, honor yourself as an individual, understanding yourself, who you are, and just to have that confidence, everything's going to work out well. We mentioned earlier that you're going to have an abundance of energy. So it is entirely up to you where you place that energy. So whether this is in the way of putting it into projects or activities, or even investing it in people, the choice is yours. So it would go in concert with this saying, choose your battles wisely. So where you're placing your time and attention. At the top of the card, we've got the number 7. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 7, as I feel that information will be very prominent for you this week. Whenever I see the number 7, it always offers another message as well. Because if we look at the shape of the number, to me, it reminds me of a sickle, a scythe that they used to use in old traditional farming methods there as well. So that would indicate letting go, cutting cords, removing things that no longer serve you, separating the wheat from the chaff this week. And then that will lead to opportunity and success for you. This top of the card, we have the flame, which would indicate passion. It would indicate new beginnings, light, healing coming into your week this week. And also with the word passion is very prominent with me as I'm linking into that symbolism there as well. So watch out for the stirrings of your heart this week and just allow yourself that guilty pleasure to feel that and just be present with it. And I feel once you're in that present moment with these passions, then this is where the universe, as we said earlier, will come into play and connect in with you. At the bottom of the card there, it says AR. To me, that represents my guy just played me that song by Phil Collins. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. So it's telling you to trust your intuition. Whatever you've been focusing on recently, it is going to come in when you step out the way and allow the universe to work with your energy. So just feel the vibrations, trust, and don't be quick to judge or rush things. Just allow yourself to be present in the process. And actually, you'll revel in the way that it unfolds, and you'll be quite taken back by these opportunities, the way that they find themselves to you. And so, good luck to you on your new adventures there. At the bottom right, we have the Roman numeral of XI. To me, that represents the number 11. So I'd like you to research the angel number 11, as I feel that will also offer you additional support and information at this time. I'm also being told to tell you to add the two digits together. So 1 and 1 equals 2. That feels like a partnership of some kind, and somebody coming into your life with equal measure, very balanced, and that respectful side, but also becoming one as well. If you know what I mean, 1 and 1 makes 2 as well, 2 individuals coming together. So something to do with a partnership coming in for you this week there. Looking at the artwork of the card, the coloration around the card, we've got the color of red moving into orange. That would indicate telling you to stop, pause, reflect, and also it would indicate passion as well, and being present in your life and allowing yourself to feel that passion, as we've mentioned earlier. Don't shy away from it. Don't feel guilty for feeling passion. There's nothing wrong with it. It is the elixir of life. That's what my guides are just telling me with that. And also, as it's moving into orange, that would indicate an abundance of energy there, that fire in your belly, that get up and go. Something, you're feeling something pushing you, driving you. Even if you feel a little bit exhausted this week, you will just find that sort of encouraging energy pushing you forward. Looking into the artwork, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as you would probably guess there. And we have 7, what I would describe as wands, emitting light. So this is talking about your magic, where putting your attention where you desire and focusing on that and trusting it and allow the light to work through you and with you. There's a feminine energy on there, so it's talking about your sensitivity. It's also talking about you just resting, observing, and also speaking about your emotions this week as well there, and conquering your own personal struggles that you've been going through as well. Also letting the past live in the past and not bringing it forward in your present and future moments. So that's what I'm picking up for you for this week. I hope that resonates with you. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here and you would like to support me, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description above or below this video, and all of your donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do. If you're wanting a one-to-one private reading or any other of my services, please find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, or you can contact me at my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com for my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Take care and God bless. Well, it sounds like we've got a lot to look forward to this week, all the twists and turns, and just allowing ourselves to step out of the way, basically. And that can be a little bit more difficult than what we initially think, can't it? Especially those of us that are overthinkers and overanalyzers, and we're very organized. That's one of life's tough lessons, I feel, to step outside of the way. So it looks like we're kind of in for a treat when we follow that guidance this week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've really enjoyed bringing this forward. As I've always said, all of the content that you hear on the shows is influenced and directly channeled from spirit there. So I hope that it does align with you. Now, I always like to extend this offer. If you have any show suggestions, any stories that maybe you wish to share with the audience, either of a paranormal nature or of a self-help nature or your spiritual unfoldment, it would be fascinating to hear from you. And if you're happy for me to read out those stories on a show, I would love to do that. And the way that you can do that is contacting me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And like I say, it would be wonderful to get that feedback from you and have that interaction with you there as well. So I'd like to wish you a fantastic week ahead. Whatever it is you're choosing to do it with a smile, do it with happiness, and just go with the flow and allow yourself to work with the universe this week. So join me the same time, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com next Monday with the show From Beyond with myself, Glenn Boddice, Spiritual Medium. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium